Okay. Hello, my dear kids, hello students. How are you doing? Hope everyone is doing good. Good evening to everybody. Right. So, how many of you are there? Good evening. Good evening. So, I see 11 people, right? So, I think it's good enough number to start. Or any of your teammates are missing? You want to wait for them? Yeah, is it fine? Can we start? Or do you want any of your friends or your teammates to join? Nobody's coming. Okay, so if I don't get any answer, I'll start. Right. Okay, let me share my screen. Like say, I just see whether all the group members are there. Is group 1 there? Is group 1 there?
Yes, sir. I think one member is
missing, sir.
Okay, fine, no problem. So how many of you? Like then 3 of you are there. Anandita, Mithun,
Yes,
and one more. Who
Ashik,
is the
sir.
other?
Ashik, sir.
Ashik. Okay, Ashik, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Right, so group 2? Guys, group 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That is
sir.
Akshaya, Nikhilesh, and
Surya.
that's it? Suryamuthu. Suryamuthu, are you there, Kanna?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Group 3? Group 3?
Sir, I think Monisha and Harini Harshita are absent, sir.
Harini Harshita just now joined. Harini Harshita, are you there?
And then Monisha, sir.
Monisha. So Harini, are you there? Like, whom are your teammates? Group 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who are all you then? Ananya. Okay, Ananya. I can see Ananya. Okay.
Harini, Monisha, me, and Ananya, sir.
Okay. So you, Nandakishore, also belong to the third group only. Okay, nice. Okay, fine. Group 4? Last group? Rohan's group, I guess.
So one person is not there, sir. Sashank.
Sashank is not there. Okay, no problem. So at least in each group, at least 3 of you are there, minimum, right? I think it's a good number. So are you all discussing when the question is asked, or you just know, like whomever knows the answer, they're answering? How is it working out for you? Are you guys discussing among yourselves?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We're discussing.
My group,
Okay,
I discussed, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
your
sir.
group discusses. Okay, fine. It's good to have a discussion. Like say, Venisha, you're in group 2. Yeah, sure. Whichever group you belong to, right? So if you have a discussion, it's actually good because say one guy doesn't know, one guy knows, or say one guy knows a better answer. Right? All of these are going to help. Right? It's always good to discuss. You can discuss either here. When I ask you the question, you can unmute yourself and discuss among your friends here only. I don't mind. Right? If not, you want to do it in private, you can do it in WhatsApp. You can chat or send voice messages. However you want, you can do it. Okay. Fine. Let me share my screen. We'll start. Right. So this was the thing, right? But I didn't write anything here. How was it possible? Okay, no problem. I'll write here now. So I told you that today we'll have group 15 little questions, and then we'll go to group 16, right? And during a Sunday's class, we'll have group 16 as well as group 17, right? Group 17 is relatively small, okay? So group 17 you can cover in 2-3 days, not a big deal. Group 15, group 16 has a little more content compared to group 17. Group 18 is obviously very small, so that you'll have more time for preparing. So at last, what we do is when we finish group 17, right, we will not have group 18 alone. We'll have again group 15, 16, 17, 18 together. So overall P block together, one session we'll have. Okay, right. That will be that way. You will not forget also whatever you studied in group 15 was 2-3 weeks back. Obviously, you would have forgotten, right? So that way, at last, the last session, quiz session for this chapter would be entire P block. Okay, that will make more sense. Right then. So looking for a question. Okay. So the question is for group 1 now. Right. Okay, so if I ask you, say I have it is nitrogen, right? Nitrogen 3 plus phosphorus 3 plus nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic 3 plus bismuth 3 plus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth 3 plus. So I have these 3 ions with me, right? Now arrange them in the order of stability. Right? The question is, arrange these things in the order of stability. Your 1 minute starts now. Group 1's question. Yes, any answers? Is group 1, any answers? Am I on mute? No, right? Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's what. Any answers? Can I move on to group 1? I mean, group 2, if you don't know the answer or you don't want to answer anything?
Sir, I think AS is the first thing, sir.
Arsenic has maximum stability.
And bismuth has the negative last one, sir.
Okay.
Is it ASP, SB, and BI, sir?
No, the answer is not right. Okay, I'll go to group 2.
So
Right.
first will be bismuth, sir.
Okay, then
And the second will be antimony.
okay,
And the third will be, so third and fourth are confusing, sir.
okay. So like this is not a proper answer. So you want to try, if you give a proper answer, whether it's right or wrong, then we can assign about marks. But yeah, so shall I move on to group 2 for that answer? Okay, fine then. Group 2 is your chance. If you know the answer, please tell me. For this, arrange them in the order of stability. Yes, group 2, no answers. Where was the... This one. This was the last thing. Yes, group 2, any answers? Can I give the answer? It's taking a lot of time. One question itself. Group 2, any answers? Can I move on? Yes, no?
You can go on.
Okay, right. So I'm just looking for that the points table where I kept it. I just... Yes, do you know like what are the points last time? What we ended up with each group? Do you remember the points table?
Sir, group 1 had 8 points, sir.
Okay, 1 second. Group 1, group 2, group 3, and 4. Group 1 had 8 points. Okay, group 2 had?
Group 2, I don't remember, sir. I think the last group had 7.5, I think, sir.
7.5, correct. And I think these two groups are 6 and 6, I guess, correct? Group 2 and group 3 had 6 and 6.
Group 3 is 7, sir.
Group 3 had 7. Okay. And group 2 had 6. Okay, fine. Fine. So the answer to this question is bismuth is more stable. Bismuth 3 plus is more stable than Sb 3 plus, and is more stable than this. It is more stable than this. Right. Now, the more important thing is why? Why is it like this? You must have come across this term called as inert pair effect. Did you come across this term?
Yes, sir.
Anybody can tell me
Helium.
what is this?
Like when stability is either full, like from 2s2 to 2p3, when you remove 3 electrons, it's in 2s2. So it's more stable than the other forms.
See, what happens is, say for example, basically there are two possible oxygen states in group 15. If you check, right, in group that is nitrogen family, there are two oxygen states possible. One is +3, the other one is +5. Okay, one is +3, other one is +5. Say I can form N5 is not possible. That's actually a very good question. Anyways, we'll come to that. So P5 is possible, AS5 plus is possible, SB5 plus is possible, bismuth 5 plus is also possible. Right. Now, among these two, generally, which is more stable? You have to remember the shortcut. Remember inert pair effect. The stability of higher oxidation state decreases down the group. This fact you have to remember. Okay, the stability of higher oxidation state decreases down the group. So in the sense, or I can even tell in other words, the stability of lower oxidation state increases down the group. So if you remember one thing, the other thing is very easy. The stability of higher oxidation state decreases and that of lower oxidation state increases. We'll come to the reason why in a while, but you have to remember this is what inert pair effect says. Because of this whatever I wrote here is a consequence of inert pair effect. Because inert pair effect is existing, right? The stability of higher oxygen state decreases down the group. The stability of lower oxygen state increases down the group. So here in this case, the lower oxygen state is +3. Out of +3 and +5, the lower one is +3, right? So stability of +3 increases down the group. So obviously down the group, bismuth will have the maximum stability for +3. Then comes antimony, then comes arsenic, phosphorus, and then nitrogen, right? But if I check for the +5 stability, right? If I talk about the +5 oxygen state stability, that will be exactly opposite. I cannot talk about nitrogen, right? Okay, so now P5 plus will be more stable than AS5 plus, will be more stable than SB5 plus, and the bismuth 5 plus is the least stable, right?
I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
So N3 plus will have a configuration of 2s2 at the end, sir.
Correct.
So shouldn't it be way more stable than Bi3 plus?
Shouldn't
Since it's more close to the nucleus, so it have better.
No. Like that's not how you think about this. Okay, how easily I can form Bi3 plus and how easily I can form N3 plus also matters, right? The ionization enthalpies, all these things matters, right? Removing an electron from nitrogen is very difficult because the atomic size is very small, first of all. Then only you can talk about the stability. Then only you can take whether first it has to form, then after forming it has to stay there. Then I can call it stable, right? Forming them itself will be more difficult. Positive ion formed by nitrogen is very rare because we know it is highly electronegative. The atomic size is very small. I will not be able to remove electrons that easily, right? All these factors contribute to the unstable nature of N3 plus.
Okay, sir, understood.
Okay, right. So now everybody understood, right? The stability of higher oxygen state decreases. That means P5 plus will be more stable than this, and this will be the order. But if I talk about +3 oxygen state, that is the lower oxygen state, that stability increases down the group, right? Now,
one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so then N5 plus will have a greater stability than P5 now, sir?
Correct. Theoretically speaking, but that is going to be the next question for the next group after I explain this. Okay. So group 3, your question is already ready, right? P5, or I'll ask you like this. NCl5 is not possible, but PCl5 is possible. Why? Like you can think about this question. This is the question. I hope you understood this question. NCl5 doesn't exist, but PCl5 exists. Why? Is your question. Okay. Now, if you answer this question, now the doubt which was asked by some student will again be answered. Why N5 plus I didn't mention here. Okay. So now coming back to inert pair effect, right? So what happens is, if you look at the configuration of anything, of any of the group 15 elements, right? I can write it as NS2, NP3. Is it not? This is the general electronic configuration for group 15. Right now, if I have to form +3 oxidation state, obviously these 3 electrons would be removed. And that is very easy because I see that all of them are unpaired electrons. Okay, removing unpaired electrons are relatively easier. right? Or I can talk in terms of, let's say, screening effect. The s orbital has a good shielding effect. Right, s orbital has good shielding effect so that it shields the electrons, so it shields these 3 electrons very nicely from the nucleus, right? So that it is easy for me to remove the electron. Generally from p, removing an electron is easier than removing electron from s. Okay, right. So now that understood, now +3 is very easy to understand. +3 can easily be formed. Okay, because these electrons are unpaired. But if I look into this ns electron, say 2s or 3s or 4s or 5s, right, depending on what element it is, obviously these 2 electrons are paired. Is it not? These 2 electrons are paired. So what happens is these 2 electrons, since they are paired, they become inert. Now, what do you mean by inert? They don't take part in bonding. Or it's a compared to these 3 electrons, how much ability they have to involve in bonding. These 2 electrons doesn't have that much ability to undergo bonding. Bonding means they undergo covalent bonding or ionic bonding. Then only the oxygen state can be lost or gained, isn't it? Right. So these 3 electrons, the p3 electrons, can easily be coming out there, can involve in bonding very easily. But since these s electrons are paired, right, I will not be able to remove these electrons easily and make them involve in bonding, right? So that is why 3 electrons losing is easy. But if I have to lose 5 electrons to form +5, it becomes more difficult because these 2 electrons are inert. The inner s, the valence shell s electrons are inert. They will not be able to involve, they'll not be able to involve themselves in bonding. This is how you must write. Okay, so if someone asks you this question, arrange them in the order of stability. They ask you the same question, this question, what I asked you, and ask you the reason. You must tell that the reason is inert pair effect, and you must explain inert pair effect, right? The +3 can be easily formed because the p electrons can easily be removed, but the s electrons are inert because they are paired. They will not involve in bonding. That is why +3 is more stable than +5 oxygen state in this case, right? Now this continues for group 16 also, people. Right, when I go to group 16, now again, the possible oxygen states are +2 and +4. Even +6 is possible, very rarely, but still, generally it is +2 and +4. Right, so again, the same thing will be there. The stability of +4 decreases down the group, but stability of +2 increases down the group. Okay, same kind of questions I'll be able to ask in group 16 also, maybe today itself, who knows, right? But not directly, but I'll twist it, right? So same thing is possible in the case of group 16 also, right? So everybody understood what is inert pair effect and why is it that the stability of +3 is more down the group and that of +5 decreases down the group? Everybody understood? Yes? Can I get a yes for inert pair effect?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope everybody is following. Right. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I can explain. Right. I hope everything is good. Right. Okay, so now you can answer this question, group 2, I guess, because the group 2 had the past question. So I think the question is for group 2, right? I'm sorry. So why is this? NCl5 exists, but sorry, NCl5 doesn't exist, but PCl5 exists. What is the reason? Group 2 can answer.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Because NCl5 doesn't have d orbitals in second.
D orbital. Okay, so NCl5 doesn't have d orbital. What doesn't have d orbital? Can I tell NCl5 a compound? Can I talk about an orbital of a compound, NCl5, like that?
Sorry, sir. Nitrogen.
Correct. So nitrogen, okay, go on. Now go on.
Nitrogen doesn't,
okay.
Nitrogen has no vacant 2d orbitals.
Okay. So? So what happens if nitrogen doesn't have, it's not 2D, it's actually 3D, right? So nitrogen doesn't have 3D, so what happens? Okay. So this I can give only 1 mark if this is what is going to be your answer out of the 2 marks which you are supposed to get. You'll get only 1 mark if you just say d orbitals are not there. You must tell me what happens if I don't have d orbital. Anybody wants to try from your group, or I can go to group 3? Okay, right. So it belongs to group 3 now. Where is the group on group 2, group 3? Okay, it's here. Right. So group 6 gets +1. Right. Group 3, your chance. You want to elaborate on what she said. Why does NCl5 doesn't exist, but PCl5 does exist? Why? No answers? Yeah, tell me.
Sir, first is as she said, N doesn't have d orbital, sir, whereas P has a d orbital. So what it can do is it can give 3 unpaired electrons to the d orbital, which can be shared by Cl, sir, and thereby it can form PCl5.
Okay, but again, I'm not fully satisfied with whatever the answer you gave. Yeah, little closer than previous whatever she said, but not a fully correct answer. You want to try in a different form, in a better way? You want to try to explain?
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, should we say about the covalency? Like,
go on, whatever you have in mind, try it out.
Sir, since nitrogen has no vacant d orbitals, the covalency is 4. So the maximum covalency is
how much?
4, whereas 4, sir.
Since 4. Covalency is 4 for nitrogen, or like what are the 2 possible valencies for group 15?
+3 and +5.
+3 and +5. Then how 4 came? Okay, go on. Continue your answer.
So for covalent bonds, it can form 4.
How will form 4 covalent bonds, Kana? Like I have NCl3 present, NH3 present. Do you have NH4? NH4 plus, this is entirely different. This I can explain how this form. This is not covalency. It's because the lone pair also involves in bonding. And this is entirely different case. But normal compounds, you check, they are only trivalent, right, for nitrogen.
Yes, sir, got it.
Yeah, go on. Continue with your answer. So you just put it from the first. You start again. Okay, so they don't have d orbitals. So yes, go on, Kanna. You're telling something.
What I got, sir, if like the others will have d orbitals, I thought it was covalency.
Yeah, it is covalency, but tell it correctly. Tell about it correctly. Why is it that I can have valency of 5, 3 only and not 5? Okay, I don't have d orbital. So what cannot happen?
Sir, can I try?
Yeah, but you won't get the point for this, Rohan. You can try. Yeah.
It can't accommodate all the 5 electrons from Cl.
It cannot accommodate all 5 electrons.
3,
okay,
so
at least this
2 will
makes
be
more
left
sense.
out.
Understood. Yeah, little better answer, but again, not a fully correct answer. The fully correct answer is since N has no d orbital, it cannot expand its octet. Basically, it cannot expand its octet to form sp3 dehybridization. This is how you must answer this question, right? So, you know, there's like obviously generally, if I go for NCl5, right, if you check the number of valence electrons in nitrogen, it will become 10, right? That means what? I have more than 8 electrons in the valence shell. That is what you mean by expansion of octet. Expansion of octet is not possible for nitrogen because it doesn't have space. Why there is no space? Because it doesn't have d orbitals. This is how you must answer the question. Okay, again I repeat, why NCl5 is not possible, or anything which is pentavalent with respect to nitrogen, NCl5, NF5, NH5, nothing is possible. But for other elements of the same group, phosphorus, arsenic, bismuth, they form pentavalent compounds. Why? Because N plus 5, or like say the sp3 dehybridization which I'm talking about, which is required, cannot be formed because it doesn't have d orbital. And second thing is, obviously, it will not be able to expand its octet. It cannot, nitrogen cannot have more than 8 electrons in the valence shell because it doesn't have a d orbital. Okay, I hope everybody understood why all the answers which you gave are not perfectly correct. This is the perfect answer which you can give. And if you write like this, they will get mark. It's not about getting mark, but this is the correct way of saying it also. Right? Okay. You have to tell that d orbitals are not there. So octet cannot be expanded. sp3 dehybridization cannot be formed. So plus 5 oxidation state or pentavalent compounds for nitrogen are not possible. This is how you must write. Okay, I hope I made some sense to you. Right? So group 2 got 1 point and nobody else got any other point. Right? Okay. Right. So now the question is for group 3. Question on the way to you. Yeah, so what the question is, Bi 5 plus is a very strong oxidizing agent. Why? Give reason to this. Bi 5 plus is a very good oxidizing agent, very strong oxidizing agent. Bi plus, any kind of Bi plus 5 compounds you have, they are considered to be very strong oxidizing agents. Why? Give reasons to this. Group 3's question. Yes, group 3. Any answers?
Sir, can I try?
Yeah, go on. Ask for, you're from group 3 only, right?
Yes, sir.
Go on.
Sir, bismuth can have 2 oxidizing states, sir, plus 3 and plus 5, sir. Bismuth can take 2 electrons to move to Bi3 plus, sir. Okay. And thereby the stability will increase for bismuth, sir. And hence it's an oxidizing agent, strong oxidizing agent.
Okay, so basically you're trying to tell that Bi3 plus is more stable than Bi5 plus. right? So Bi5 plus can easily go to Bi3 plus because
By taking two
Bi3 plus is more
electrons.
stable. Exactly. By taking 2 electrons, can you tell me whether it's oxidation or reduction? Bi5 plus is taking 2 electrons, so Bi5 plus undergoing
Reduction.
Reduction, right? So for anything to be an oxidizing agent, they must undergo.
It has to reduce itself and oxidize the other element.
Correct. Correct answer. Yes, perfect answer. I will give you 2 points. Okay. So I hope everybody understood what he was trying to say, right? So obviously, for anything to be an oxidizing agent, this that particular thing must undergo reduction very easily, right? Easy reduction if it undergoes. Obviously, now if I check if it undergoes reduction, what is the other thing possible is Ba3 plus. Only 2 oxygen states are possible. Right. So now only we saw because of inert pair effect. You actually, when you answer this question, who's this? Is this Surya to answer this question or Mithun? Who's this? To answer?
Sir, Nandakishore, sir.
Nandakishore. So Nandakishore, when you answer the question, everything was perfect, but you must include this. Yes, inert pair effect. You must tell that.
Sir, I got the idea from inert pair effect.
Exactly. I understand that you got, but if you miss this point, they'll cut half mark because this is the keyword in this question, right? So why Ba3 plus is more stable? Because you must tell it is because of inert pair effect. Okay, fine. So Bi3 plus is more stable. Just now we saw it's because of inert pair effect, right? So obviously Bi5 plus can easily undergo reduction to form Bi3 plus. That's why we say that is a very good, strong, it's a strong oxidizing agent because it can easily undergo reduction. Why easily undergo reduction? Because Ba3 plus is more stable. Why Ba3 plus is more stable? Because of inert pair effect. Everything must be there in your answer. Only then full points you'll get. Right? Okay, good. Next question goes to group 4. And your question is this. You have NH3, PH3, ASH3, SBH3. Okay, fine. These 4, arrange them in the order of bond angle. Okay, group 4, hope you understand the question. You have all the hydrides of group 15, right? Arrange them in the order of bond angle. And obviously, along with the reason why. Yes, any answers?
So, is it like NH3 is the greatest, then BH3, then ASH3, then SPH3?
Okay, why?
Is it because their size increases?
Okay, as size increases, what happens?
Bond angle decreases, sir.
Okay, why? That I understand. Why? If size increases, how bond angle decreases? Your answer is correct. Okay, NH3 has the greatest, then PH3, then ASH3, then SBH3. But how? It has something to do with size, but what has size to do with bond angles? How exactly?
So when size increases, electronegativity decreases.
Okay. So, come on, when you yourself will hear the answer, if you are in my position and you hear this answer, you must expect, okay, fine, I accept that point also. As size increases, electronegativity decreases. But again, how is it that related to bond angle?
Usually we say if size of electron atoms increase, then bond angle decreases, right? So
Exactly. Yes, correct. But that's not the reason, right? If size increases, because of size increase, what is happening so that the bond angle is decreasing? I will give you some points for this, but I'll not give you full points if you don't give me the proper answer.
since electronegativity decreases,
in
density, like repulsion will be less. So
repulsion will be less. Between what? Between?
All this N and H3 and P and H3, all that, as it increases, size increases, the density decreases. So the
repulsion decreases. Correct, right? You said repulsion decreases. Hello, did you say repulsion decreases or increases? What did you say? Am I audible?
It should decrease, right, sir?
Okay, if it decreases, then what should happen? The bond angle should increase or decrease? Right.
Yes, sir. Repulsion should increase due to which bond angle increases, sir.
Repulsion increases. Fine. I will give you 1.5, but not a perfect answer. Right. Okay. Maybe I'll the 0.5 mark. Maybe choice can go to group 1. Do you want to try? Group 1. Your chance. Past question. You want to try with the perfect answer?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Yeah.
Sir, can I try again, sir?
But you will not get the point. But let me see. It went to them. Let me see if they are trying. If they don't get the answer, then you tell me. They're trying, right? If they tell, they might get a point, right?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I think NH3 has the maximum bond angle.
Yeah, the order is fine. You just have to come up with the
reason. Because that ionic that elements are at atomic radius, I think it is increases when we go down the group.
Okay.
And the electronegativity also will decrease, sir. Electronegativity, I think it's directly proportional to the bond angle. So bond angle, I think, also will decrease.
This is what they said. Again, how electronegativity and bond angle are related, or how atomic size and bond angle are related? That's the question. That is why they lost their 0.5. You have an answer for that? How they are affecting? How atomic size and electronegativity affects the bond order? See, bond angle. Sorry. No. Okay. Right.
So
yeah.
Will there be repulsion?
Repulsion between what?
Sir,
between
central atom,
the yes, sir.
Between the central atom, that is nitrogen and hydrogen, phosphorus and hydrogen. That one?
Yes, sir.
No, if I can't, yeah, tell me.
Sir, I'm not part of group 3 or group 1. It's like group 4 or group 1, sir.
Sorry, I don't understand what you're telling.
Sir, I'm not a part of group 4 or group 1, but can I tell the answer?
Yeah, Rohan wants to try. Rohan, you want to try your answer? Then if it's again not right, you can tell. Yeah, tell me, Rohan.
I'm not confident of the answer, sir.
You're not confident again? Yeah, then whomever wants to tell now, I can tell. Who said?
Sir, is it because of the lone pair bond pair repulsion?
At last, someone is telling. Yes, please go on. It's correct. Yes, it's because of
lone
pair bond pair.
Because nitrogen is the most electronegative in the group, it will have a higher lone pair bond pair repulsion than the others. And hence the bond angle will increase.
Okay, it's right. Right. So yeah, 99% correct. So if I have to explain it in a very simple way so that everybody understands. Now see people, all of these molecules have pyramidal shape. I think you can easily understand that they are going to have pyramid. Pyramidal shape is like this: A, B, B, and there is a lone pair. Okay. Now all of these PH3, NH3, ASH3, all of them have pyramidal shape. Right. So when I say bond angle, I'm talking about this angle, BAB, that angle only I'm talking about. Okay, that BAB, that's what I'm talking about. Now, what I understand, now, obviously, there are two types of repulsions here. One is lone pair bond pair repulsion. The other one is bond pair repulsion. Bond pair means, obviously, I understand that there are two electrons here in this bond, two electrons in this bond. So obviously repulsion between these two electrons. That is bond pair repulsion. Obviously, if the bond pair repulsion is high, then they will try to move away from each other. Then the bond angle increases. Hope you all are able to get the point. If these two electrons and these two electrons repel, these two bonds will try to move away from each other, thereby increasing the bond angle. Right. But if I check the first one, that is your lone pair bond pair repulsion, that is the repulsion between these two lone pair of electron and these two electrons, or say these two electrons which are here in this bond. Right. If that increases, what will happen? Now, if the repulsion between these two electron and these two electron increases, this will try to push the bond towards this side, right? Because the lone pair is here, the bond pair will try to move away from the lone pair, so that the repulsion decreases. So it will try to move this side. Now, if it moves, if both the bonds move this side, what will happen? The bond angle decreases, right? So if bond pair repulsion increases, the bond angle increases because they will try to move like in this direction and this direction, right? But if the lone pair bond pair repulsion increases, this will try to push the bond towards this side so that the bond angle decreases. This point is clear to everybody. Can I get a yes if this point is very clear what I told now? Yes? Yes. Okay, right. Now this we understood. Now how do we compare in which case the lone pair bond pair repulsion increases? Right now, if the lone pair is very big in the sense that it is not strongly attracted to the nucleus, it is so much diffused, right? If the electron cloud is so big, it is not that constricted. If it is constricted to the nucleus, obviously it is little say far away, so the lone pair bond pair repulsion is less, right? But if the lone pair is very diffused, it's not so strongly attracted by the nucleus, obviously then it will have more repulsion because it is more diffused. Right now, so obviously what happens now, nitrogen is highly electronegative, or say the atomic size is very small, right? So the lone pair is not that diffused. The exact term you have to use is lone pair not that diffused, right? But when I go down the group, as you all said, the size increases, right? If the size increases, this lone pair of electron is moving away and away from the nucleus. Right? Or I would say I can speak in other words, since the electronegativity is decreasing, right? So like nitrogen, if it is here, will be able to hold the electron more tightly, right? But phosphorus will not be able to hold the lone pair so tightly, so that it will be more diffused. Now, when it comes to phosphorus, I would say it is more diffused. Thereby, it will interact more with the bond pair of electron. So the bond angle keeps on decreasing as the size of the central atom becomes bigger. This is how you must explain. You must explain that since size increases, electronegativity decreases, the lone pair becomes more and more diffused as we go down the group. If the lone pair is more diffused, it will interact more with the bond pairs. Repulsion is more, thereby the bond angle decreases. This is exactly you must tell. Okay, now I thought everybody understood why I didn't give full points. This is how you must tell. Obviously, it's because of decrease in size, increase in electronegativity. But how exactly? You must tell me. Hey, not only me, in the exams also, you should write those points. Okay, right? I hope everybody got the point. Right. So now the next question is for group 1 again. Right. So the question is this. I have Ca3P2 reacting with H2O. Can you complete the reaction for me?
So is this for group 1, sir?
Yeah, group 1. Correct. This is group 1's question.
Sir, is it CaOH twice plus pH3, sir?
Yeah, correct. Right. So remember, when this is the famous reaction for producing phosphine. PH3 is what is called as phosphine. Hope you all know, right? So phosphine is industrially very important. Okay. Can someone tell me what is the smell of phosphine? What smell does it have? Phosphine smell. Anybody knows? See, like this also question might come. They might tell that some gas is coming out which has this smell, and you have to identify that it is phosphine. What smell phosphine has? Okay,
garlic.
So garlic, no. It is rotten fish smell. It's a very, yeah, correct. It's rotten fish smell, right? It's a very bad smell. Okay, phosphine is a very bad smelling gas. Okay, so yeah, your reaction is correct, right? This is a very easy way to prepare phosphine. Okay, calcium phosphide you take, react with H2O, you form COH twice and phosphine. Right. Okay, +2 for group 2. Sorry, group 1. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, moving on to the next question. For group 2, I think we have solved all questions from group 15. I guess we can go to group 16 now, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay. There is this famous question. There is the thing called as Brown ring test, right? First, how do you do this? How do you do this? And second, write the chemical reaction involved. Okay, so now tell me, what is Brown ring test? How do you do it? And what is the chemical reaction behind it? And this is for group 2, right? I think it's for group 2 only. Yeah, group 2.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
There is this thing called as Brown ring test. Okay, what is this? First question is, what is Brown ring test? If you answer this question, then you answer me, how do you do this test? Right? And then what is the chemical reaction behind this test? Yes. Any answers?
Sir,
Yeah.
a nitrate test is called as brown ring test.
Okay. Nitrate test. This is a test for nitrate. Yes. Good. One question answer. Okay. How do you do this?
First, we should take solution of nitrate.
Hmm.
Then we should add iron sulfate.
Hmm.
Then we should add H2SO4.
H2SO4. Just like that you will add, or any specific?
Concentrated H2SO4.
Okay. Concentrated H2SO4. Like, is it
Then
any special way of adding is there? You can just add just like that,
no,
or
slowly we should add.
slowly. That's it. Okay, fine. Go on. If you add H2SO4, then what happens?
Then it will form a brown ring-like layer in the bottom of the solution.
Okay, again, not in the bottom of the solution, but fine. Okay, fine. So if the brown ring forms, then what do you do? What do you do? Like, what do you confirm? Or what do you decide based on the brown ring formation?
It indicates the presence of nitrate ion.
Okay, good. So if the brown ring forms, it indicates that nitrate is present. Okay, fine, good. So 2 questions you answered, even though the second question, like say it's not entirely correct, but still I'll accept this. Okay, what is the chemical reaction behind this?
HNO3 plus H2SO4 plus FeSO4.
Wait. Can you just tell me again?
HNO3 plus H2SO4 plus.
We'll just take NO3 minus, okay? NO3 minus plus, okay? H2SO4
plus FeSO4 gives Fe2SO4 thrice.
Fe2SO4 thrice, okay?
2NO.
Okay, NO plus
H2O.
Okay, fine. Then? That's it?
Yes.
Okay, so see, this is not the complete reaction. You must tell the brown ring which is formed, right? What is the formula of the brown ring? The brown ring has a formula, but that if you want to get that, you have to write another reaction. This is one of the reaction happening. There is a second reaction which will happen. Any idea?
Yes.
Okay, no issues. I will give you 1.7 marks for whatever you answered. You almost answered it. Right, so group 2 gets plus 1.75. Actually, I'll write it somewhere nicely, the group points. Say group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. Right, so the points were 10, this 7 plus 1.5 will become 9.75, 10 and 9.75, 10, 9.75, then 9 and 9, both of them. Okay. So yes, almost what you said was correct, but as I told, the one more reaction is left out. Okay, for that only I got 0.3 marks, but other than that, it's fine. Group 3, you want to complete it. What is the reaction which I'm expecting? What is the formula of the brown ring? Group 3, you want to answer? You want to try? Yeah.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Yes, any answers? Group 3.
Sir, don't.
Yes, any answers you have?
No, sir.
No answers? Okay, cool. So now first we'll come back to the first question. What is Brown ring test? That was already answered. Maybe if you would have gone to your schools, you might have actually done this test. In reality, you must have done it. I mean, you might have done it if you've gone to school, but you didn't. Anyways, so now we generally go for salt analysis. When we go, they'll give you a salt, right? You must find what is the cation and what is the anion. That is what you do in salt analysis. Say for finding out, say doing confirmatory test. How do you confirm the presence of a particular ion? Like for cations, there are so many tests. Say for example, if you want to go for ammonium ion, you go for Nestle's reagent. And then if you want to confirm magnesium, you go for magnesium reagent. If you want to confirm aluminium, you go for aluminum reagent, right? So like that, cations, you just add the solution. If the color changes, okay, fine, I confirm that, okay, that particular ion is there. Like that, we have certain tests for anions also. Okay, say like for nitrate, what we go for is your Brown ring test. That's the confirmation. Perfect test. If it happens, yes, nitrate is present. If it doesn't happen, no nitrate is present. Okay, so like that for chloride, I have something called as chromyl chloride test. I don't know whether you might have heard it. Chromyl chloride test you do, right? So like that, we have different tests for different anions, right? So basically, in this case, Brown ring test is you must tell it as a confirmatory test for NO3 minus ion. Okay, right. Now, how do you do this? It's very simple. You take a test tube. Right? Now, in the test tube, you take the solution. Basically, in the solution, if it contains NO3 minus ion. Okay, right. Now, to this NO3 minus, first what you add is, okay, I'll write the reaction here. Right? To this NO3 minus, right? First, what you add is an Fe2 plus salt. Okay. Now, what happens is there is going to be a neutralization reaction. There is going to be a redox reaction happening. Okay, what happens is now this NO3 minus gets converted to NO, okay, and this Fe2 plus gets oxidized to Fe3 plus. Okay, that is what now you must have written. Like, look at this. FeSO4, it is +2 oxidation state. Fe2SO4 thrice becomes Fe3 plus. That's why I told you this reaction was fine. Right? Okay, so what happens is NO3 minus gets reduced to NO, and Fe2 plus gets oxidized to Fe3 plus. Okay, this is one of the reaction. Right? Now what happens is this NO is what is required for me. That is what is more important. Okay, now this Fe2 plus you have, right? Not all Fe2 plus would have gone to Fe3 plus. There'll be still some amount of, Fe3 plus present. Obviously, you have to add H2SO4 here. That is what we mentioned. I can even just write it as H plus. Okay, right. So this you write, just H plus you write. You don't even have to write H2SO4, just write H plus, NO3 minus, and Fe2 plus. What are the products here? Products is NO and Fe3 plus. These are obviously plus H2O. Okay, now these three are the products, these three are the reactants. Okay, now the role of this reaction is to produce only this NO. I want this NO because for the next reaction, as I told you, not all Fe2 plus would have converted. Some amount of Fe2 plus will be still remaining, right? So what happens is this Fe2 plus will be in the form of a coordination complex. Okay, this Fe2 plus will be like this: Fe H2O 6 times 2 plus. Obviously, I think coordination compounds are not done for you, but still you can understand that this kind of compounds are what are called as coordination compounds. Okay, now this reacts with NO to form Fe H2O 5 times NO 2 plus. Am I right? Yeah. Okay, Fe H2O 5 times NO 2 plus. Obviously, one H2O would have been removed. I had 6 H2O. Now I have 5 H2O and 1 NO. Okay, now this is what is my Brown ring. Okay, this is the formula of the Brown ring which you're talking about. Okay, so what do? You take the test tube, you add the solution of nitrate. Okay, now into this you add your Fe2 plus, right? And what you do is then you add H2SO4, not like chumma. You add on the sides of the test tube. I don't know how do you say the sides of the test tube you add, not like directly putting a drop into the middle of the test tube. On the sides of the test tube, you put a H2SO4 drop by drop. So what happens along the sides, it will just come and correctly on the junction, I'm going to form a Brown ring. Hope you all understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, like you will add the Fe2 plus, when you add the nitrate salt, you will add the Fe2 plus. When you add H2SO4 alone, you have to be very careful. You have it add along the sides of the test tube. That's what is more important. You have to add it along the sides of the test tube. If you add that, then you will form this particular complex. Okay, now this is the one which is responsible for your Brown ring. Okay, right? I hope everybody got the point. Right, two reactions. You must write this reaction. That is NO3 minus plus Fe2 plus H plus, giving all these three NO plus Fe3 plus H2O. Then you must write this reaction also for getting the full marks if they ask you about Brown ring test. Right? Okay, so I think the points have already been entered, right? Yeah, 1.75 I gave for group 2. Your next question goes to group 3. Group 3. Second. Okay. So we say that NH3 is more basic than PH3. Why? This is group 3's question. Or you can just tell, fine, anyways, you answer this question. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, NH3 is more basic than PH3 because, sir, NH3 can easily attract protons and hydronium ions, sir, to form ammonium hydroxide. More than PH3, and hence
why it can attract more easily than in the case of PH3. So yeah, why NH3 can attract more easily than PH3?
Sir, I'm not really sure, but is it because of the so is it because of the valence shell?
Is it because of the
valence shell? Sir,
valence
P has
shell?
a vacant d orbital, sir.
Okay, so
whereas N does not have a d orbital, and because of that, it can like gain electron. Sorry. Yes, sir. It can gain electrons rather than donate electrons, sir.
okay, so
that makes it less basic, sir.
No, not exactly. Just because pH3 has extra d orbital doesn't mean that it will be able to accept electron more easily, right? Okay, so any other, I think on one more chance, I might give to someone. Anybody wants to try from their group, or I can go to group 4 for the answer. The answer is very simple only, not so much complications are there. Okay, can I go to group 4?
So 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sir? Sir, is it because nitrogen is small in size, so the electron density of the lone pair in N will be more than more in NH3, sir, than PS3.
Okay, so
and because of that, that makes NH3 more basic than PS3.
If the electron density is high, so what happens? So how is it related to basicity? Yes, accept it is accepted. The fact is accepted that the nitrogen has the lone pair electron density is more in nitrogen than in phosphorus.
Sure, so then it can easily donate electrons, sir, and gain protons.
Gain protons, that's the point, right? So it will be able to gain protons very easily. So you see, a base is something which can accept H plus, right? Now, how will I be able to accept very easily when the lone pair is more available? Right, lone pair is more available. So obviously, nitrogen has a lone pair, phosphorus has a lone pair, but this nitrogen, because of its small size, high electron negativity, right? So now it has high electron density, so it will be able to accept H plus more easily than TH3. That is how you define a base. A base is something which accepts H plus. Whichever is able to accept H plus very easily, that's a better base. So ammonia is able to accept H plus very easily because due to small size and high electronegativity, and because of that high density of lone pair. That's the answer, right? Yeah, I will give you full mark, right, since you came up with the answer. So it was group 3's question, right? So +2 from group 3. Okay, fine. So last question for group 15 goes to group 4. Right, let me look for a question. Yeah, I have a question actually with me. So the question is, say NH3, PH3, or say I'll write NCl3, PCl3, ASCl3, SbCl3, and BiCl3. Right? I want you to arrange them in the order of arrange with respect to ionic nature. right? Arrange with respect to ionic nature or say covalent nature, anything. Hope you understand. Whatever is the order for ionic nature, the opposite will be the order for covalent nature. More ionic character, less covalent character. More covalent character, less ionic character. Right? So if you do for this or for this, whatever you get, it will be opposite of these two. Like if you get whatever be the order of ionic nature, you will get the opposite for covalent nature. But the reasons are same both for both these things. The order. Go for it. You have 1 minute, 2 minutes max. So this is a question to group 4.
So I can say the order now, sir, but the reason I need more time to tell.
Okay, fine.
So NCl3 will have the least. PCl3
Least,
will have
you're talking
greater.
about ionic nature?
Yes, ionic nature.
Okay, so NCl3 is having the least, okay?
PCl3 will have next least, so it will keep going that order.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The order is correct. Reasons. We might take 1 more minute for discussing. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the least, right? It should be the opposite sign. You said NCl3 is least.
Yes, sir. It will have the least ionic.
So everything will be the opposite sign.
The question was for ionic nature, right?
Yeah, ionic nature will be. And obviously, whatever this, the opposite will be the order for covalent nature. NCl3 will be maximum covalent, BiCl3 will be maximum ionic. That's how it will be. Anyways, yeah, the reason. The reason is not directly you would have studied in 12th. Actually, it comes from 11th. Chemical bonding chapter. We studied this.
Sir, NCl3 has one lone.
Sir, can I say?
Yeah, both of you are from the same group?
No, sir, I'm from group 1, sir.
Group 1, wait. They are still telling.
So as we go down the group, electronegativity decreases, sir.
Okay.
Less electronegativity means there will be a stronger bond between both. So ionic character increases due to that. Less electronegativity means more ionic character.
Bond. Less electronegativity means more ionic character. No, not exactly. Okay, one more chance. Like any proper answer you want to give?
So since N, P, and AS electronegativity decreases, sir, and Cl's electronegativity is a constant, sir. So the bond increases as we go below. Since plus and minus difference will be big as it increases.
More polar. Okay, fine. I will give you 1.2 for because you guessed this thing right. That is the order right. And your reason was little only satisfactory. So I'll just give you 1.25. Okay, right. So yeah, group 1, your chance. Who more wants to give me an answer?
Sir, NCl3 is least ionic because it has one lone pair, no, sir?
Everything has a lone pair here. PCl3.
Pair, so it doesn't share the atom with the electronegative atom, sir. Like sodium does not share its atom with the electronegative chlorine, sir.
Okay. So
therefore it attracts electrons towards itself, sir. NCl3 it is small only, no, sir. So it attracts the electron towards itself.
Okay, if it attracts electron towards itself, what happens?
That becomes non-polar.
Non-polar. Okay, that is what he was trying to say. The difference in electronegativity, say nitrogen, chlorine, the difference in electronegativity is very less. So it is less polar.
There's a repulsion between the lone pair present in N and the electrons of the Cl, sir.
that has nothing. Say the lone pair, the presence of lone pair doesn't have actually any effect with respect to the ionic or covalent nature here. Yes, but the difference in electronegativity, as you said, yes, between nitrogen and chlorine, there is less electronegativity difference. The P and Cl will have little less difference compared to N and Cl. I mean, more difference. So it is more ionic. Here it is little more difference, little more ionic. So that makes sense. Okay, I can accept to some extent that answer. But lone pair and this ionic nature doesn't have any
ionic
connection.
Character is less, no, sir.
No. That's what. Lone pair and ionic character doesn't have any such connection. Okay, fine. So the proper answer to this is coming from, if you remember your 11th class, we studied something about Fejon's rules. Do you remember this name, Fejon? Anybody remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So this basically we talked about covalent nature in ionic compounds or the opposite, whatever it is. Ionic compounds. Right. So basically, this Fejon's rule, if you use, you will be able to compare two molecules. Okay, so this is ionic. I mean, this is more ionic. This is less ionic. This is more covalent. This is less covalent. All these things you'll be able to say with respect to, I mean, if you use Fejon's rules properly. Okay. Right. Now, what happens here? Obviously, now there are two things. You have to look into the cation. You have to look into the anion, or say like the phenomena. First of all, what you have to understand is in ionic compounds, how is there a covalent nature? Right? In ionic compounds, how is there a covalent nature? Now, what you have to understand is, say this is the cation, this is the anion, this is a perfectly ionic compound. There is no sharing of electron between these two, right? Two different entities, separately present. Okay, right. Now, if at all it is a covalent compound, there will be electrons shared here and so all those things will happen. But here, nothing, perfectly ionic compound. Right. Now here, what can happen is, since I have this cation to have a high charge density, right? What happens is, there will be some electrons present in the anion. Correct. There can be some electrons present in the valence shell of the anion. So what happens is, this, if you assume that the electron cloud is to be circular, if I write like this, circle, then that means it's a perfectly ionic compound. Okay, but due to the presence of this cation, this electric field we are talking about is not going to be symmetrical. It is not going to be a circle, but it is going to be something like this. Okay, now the electrons are going to get distorted like this. The electron cloud is going to come closer towards the cation. Hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. Right? If it is a perfectly ionic compound, it will having a symmetrical circular field like this, for proper circle. Right? This is how the electric field will look like. Right? But in reality, what we see is, because of this presence of because of the presence of this cation, right? The electrons present in the anion gets distorted. The electric field is not anymore getting symmetrical. Right? The electric field is getting distorted. Okay, right. This phenomena is what is called as polarization. Okay, the distortion of electric cloud. Right, polarization is nothing but distortion of electron cloud of the anion by the cation. Cation is the one which is responsible for all of this. Okay, so polarization is happening. Now, what do you understand? Now, is it not like this particular electron is shared between this and this? Right? Is it not, since the electron is coming closer towards the cation, I can say that the electron is getting shared between the cation and anion. So this is how some amount of covalent character is brought into an ionic compound. Okay, so if someone asks you, how is it that ionic compounds have covalent character, you must tell them the reason is because of polarization. What is polarization? Distortion of the electron cloud of the anion by the cation. This happens, so it seems as if the electron is actually getting shared between the cation and anion. This only brings in the covalent nature. Okay, so obviously more and more polarization happens, more and more will be the CC. CC means covalent character. Is it not? More and more the electron gets shared, more and more is the covalent character. Or in other words, more and more polarization, more and more is the covalent character. Okay, now how do we decide whether I have more polarization or less polarization is the next question we have to answer. right? How do you answer this question is that is where the Fajon's rules comes, right? So you have to look into the cation and you have to look into the anion. Okay, right. So for cations, we will talk about this term called as polarizing power. Basically, polarizing power means ability to polarize the anion. Right, how much power it has, right? How much power it has so that the polarization happens, the distortion of electron flow happens. That is what is polarizing power of the cation. Okay, now obviously more polarizing power, more covalent character. That we understood because more polarizing power means more polarization. More polarization means more covalent character. What is the time? Okay, right. Now, how do we decide the polarizing power? Let me give you a shortcut very simply. Polarizing power is inversely proportional to size and directly proportional to the charge. Okay, inversely proportional to the size and directly proportional to the charge. Now, say we'll concentrate on this point first, right? That means a smaller cation has more polarizing power than a bigger cation. Basically, a smaller cation is more covalent than a bigger cation. Makes sense, right? Size, lesser size means more polarizing power, means more covalent character. Okay, so if I give you an example like this, say I have LiCl, NaCl, KCl. Okay, if I ask you to arrange them in the order of covalent character, okay, if I ask you to arrange them in the order of covalent character, now this is what you will do. Now you know Cl, 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 same, the anion is same. So all you have to look into only the cation here. Okay, so what I have here, Li plus, Na plus, K plus, right? Now, if I arrange them in the order of size, I know down the group size increases. So Li plus has the least size and K plus has the greatest size. Okay, now what did Fajon's rule says? Lesser size, more polarizing power. So Li plus has the least size. So that will have the maximum polarizing power. So maximum covalent character. Okay, so if I ask you to arrange LiCl, NaCl, and KCl in the order of their covalent character, LiCl will have more covalent character than NaCl than KCl. Obviously, ionic nature would be KCl will have the maximum ionic nature than NaCl than LiCl. Hope you are all able to understand. Remember, polarizing power and size are inversely related. Smaller cations have more polarizing power. Why is it like this? Now, it's very simple. Because if I have a smaller cation, that will have high charge density. That will have high charge density. Okay, a smaller cation will be more powerful than a bigger cation in attracting the electrons. Okay, right. Now, next is about the charge, right? So now more charge, more polarizing power. Now, it's again easy to understand, right? Obviously, more charge if it has, more is the attractive force, more will be the polarization, more will be the covalent character, right? So if I have to give you an example, say I have NaCl, MgCl2, AlCl3. If I ask you to arrange them in the order of covalent character, right? Now again, you see the anions are same, only the cations are different. Al3 plus I have, Mg2 plus I have, Na plus I have, right? Now what did I tell you? More charge, more polarizing power. Polarizing power and charge are directly proportional. So obviously Al3 plus has maximum charge because it is plus 3, here it is plus 2, here it is plus 1 only. So now the order of covalent character would be like this. AlCl3 is more covalent than MgCl2 than NaCl, and the ionic character will be opposite. NaCl is more ionic than MgCl2, which is more ionic than AlCl3. Okay, right? So like that only we look at the cations and answer the question. Now, what question was asked to you? I asked you NCl3, PCl3, ASCl3, SbCl3, BaCl3. Now, all of them are having plus 3, plus 3, plus 3 everywhere. Right? So now only thing which I have to look at is the size. Right? So what happens now? Obviously, more size, right? More size, less covalent character. You can understand here. What happens? Polarizing power is inversely proportional to the size. Right? So now I have Bi to have the maximum size, so least polarizing power, least covalent character, maximum ionic character. Again, I repeat, Bi is having the maximum size, right? So least polarizing power, right? Least covalent character, or in other words, maximum ionic character. Same way, nitrogen is the smallest. So maximum polarizing power, maximum covalent nature, minimum ionic nature. Right? Everybody got the point. What I told you now with respect to Fajon's rules, what is polarization, what is polarizing power, everything is okay. Can I get a yes? Is everything okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope everybody is able to get it. Anybody wants me to repeat again any of the point which I told now? Anybody needs any clarity anywhere? Okay, right. So fine, that is how you answer the question. You must tell that Fajon's rules, right? Fajon rule, according to Fajon rules, polarizing power and size are inversely related. More polarizing power means more covalent character, and then you have to give the order, whichever order you want to speak. Okay, this is how you must answer these kind of questions, right? Obviously, it depends on the anion also. Maybe that we'll see in the next class. Okay, we'll see in the next class, that is your Sunday's class. We'll see how anions also have something to do with their size, some charge, how their covalent character changes. All these things we'll again see next class. Okay, so in this class also, we couldn't start with your group 16. So next class, we are definitely starting with group 16 only. We are done with group 16, but prepare group 17 also. In case we complete group 16, we will start with group 17 also. Okay, so next class, it is group 16 and group 17. You group 16, you already prepared because you had the time till now. Group 17, you prepare also and come for Sunday's class. Okay, any questions anybody has?
No, sir.
Okay, fine then. I will stop right here. Right, we'll all meet you again on Sunday. Right, thank you so much, people. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.